Hi, it's Stephanie Pruitt. It is day 25 of 30 by 30 by 30, where I'm writing 30 poems in 30 days in relation to works in the 30 Americans exhibit in my hometown of Nashville, Tennessee. It's hitting me that we're on day 25, so just less than a week left of this project, and I'm really observing and learning a lot about myself. I'm realizing that the daily writing is, I won't say easy, it's definitely not easy, but it's working for me. I'm figuring out how to do the daily writing. Publishing the videos every day is more of a challenge. I think it's the prospect of it being done just so quickly and getting the information out there before I've kind of thought and double and triple and quadruple checked some things. That's a little tough on me. And then just the technology of editing videos and publishing them online. This definitely is not my wheelhouse, but I'm doing it, and I'm learning to sometimes just put it out there. And definitely not a practice I would do in all areas of my career. I'm extremely detailed oriented. Some people would say mildly obsessive about certain things. So there are some things that I absolutely will not let out the door until I know they are completely right. But I have found some freedom in pushing myself towards this process and aesthetic for right now. Today I wrote in relation to a work by Jean-Michel Basquiat. Basquiat is one of the probably most recognizable artists, one of the more recognizable artists in the 30 Americans exhibit, and I've just kind of been in awe of some of the works of his that are represented. Basquiat was born in 1960 in Brooklyn, New York. He passed away quite young, 1988 in New York. He is, wow, not as a shortcut, but I'll just say, if you don't know about his work and his life, do the internet search. I mean, he's really just an amazing person, persona, character in some ways, so brave, creatively brave, and dealt with issues and ideas, often thinking very consciously about fame and notoriety and what makes fine art, what makes street art, or street fine art, all these kinds of things. So I won't go into all of that. I'll also say there are a couple of really fantastic documentary films about his life. So the work I wrote in relation to is called 1 Million Yen. 1 Million Yen was created in 1982. It is oil on canvas with wood and jute. It looks like the frame almost of a house. It's a fairly flat work. It's not a traditionally stretched canvas. The canvas is stretched and kind of tied across some wooden poles, but there's some slack in it. The poles make kind of the upside down V, and so it immediately reminded me of a house, but that in general kind of connected me to the idea of structures and structures in which we operate. And very clearly, to me at least, the imagery and some of the symbols in the work were referencing commerce and commercial kind of artistic systems and how they operate and how we assess value. And because it reminded me or kind of referenced a home structure, it made me think about how we build kind of foundations and home places within creative careers, dealing with money, all kinds of things. And maybe I'm reflecting a lot of this because these are personal issues I'm thinking about. But let me read the draft of the poem, and I will say that it's something of an abstract reference to the artwork. The poem itself, let me just read it, we'll talk. 3 houses, one of hay, one of sticks, one brick. You know how the story goes, the huffs, puffs, and the blowing down, which stands through breath and time. The unpublished chapter, maybe it's the third cousin twice removed's version, reveals a house made of canvas and paint. What was the builder thinking? How will the wolf react? And can any of it possibly last? So yeah, how do you get to the 3 little pigs from the Basquiat work? Well, for me, it was, I'm still thinking about it a lot. I guess one of the things that really struck me is the different ways of representing money and, dollars, but then that can be converted into yen if you're traveling to Japan and going through conversion rates. And then there were some numbers, there were some words written out, there were some text talking about tax and things that are taxable and other things. So like different ways of representing value. And I guess one of the things that a lot of artists I know, a lot of conversations I've been having with myself, when it comes to the value of our work, yes, of course we think about dollar signs and kind of what that can practically mean, but in the larger picture, I think a lot of us are thinking of legacy and what lasts, what remains, what stands through other blows and other tests, I guess. So, and then I guess very recently, like within the last week, I've been reading articles about the tax evaluation and value of Basquiat's artwork and decisions that his father, as the executor of his estate, made in terms of value, and some people thinking that they were overinflated or that the tax levies were too high. And so it's interesting to me to think about this work that was created in 1982 and how, here we are, decades later, and his work is still being discussed, of course, for its artistic and creative merit and his life story, but also thinking about how his family is dealing with issues of kind of value and finance and taxes, and just how that thread is pulled through all the way. Like, I wonder how many artists, if we weren't thinking about the art market and the commercial market, how would we value our work? Like, what sign would we place on it? Maybe not a dollar sign, but what value? Are we valuing our time? Are we valuing ideas? Are we valuing the materials we used? Are we valuing the effect and impact we think it will have? Are we valuing the rarity of it? Like, how do we assess those? How do we assess that kind of qualitative and sometimes quantitative measure? Interesting questions. All right, well, I'm going to check in with you all tomorrow. It will be day 26, and you will see the number 21 on the sticker. Y'all take care.